we're live, we're live, we're live. Okay, we're live. So let me just settle up everything. You're my 83rd mom, Stacey. I am settling the echo, which I've been settling for 83 interviews. The minute it starts, there's the echo comes. I have to wait for Facebook to load. And I told everybody that, yeah, did you hear that? That was one. And I've been telling people that there'll be a film made on how I start my interviews. I don't start my interviews sitting straight because I'm technically so odd that my interviews have been starting like this. Oh, I'm figuring it out, I'm doing something, and then I'm figuring out. So there'll be just a film of 100 interviews taken like that, just for 2 minutes, how Shikha starts her interviews. So
Oh my,
welcome.
we're on.
Yes, we're on. We're on. We've been on since the time I've been settling it up. And good morning and good evening from wherever we are joining in. This is again a beautiful morning. How how fast I went to the first 75 and how slowly I'm going to the next 25, last 25. Very slowly because you know, whatever, like there was a break and then I couldn't go ahead with an accident with my child, and now it's going so slow, and suddenly I'm actually slowing down because I feel that the mothers who are about to come in, they are just around, and I better not finish the 100 first because some important mothers need to be in this project. We have Debbie live with us. She's one of our pillars. We have 5 pillars, Stacey. We have Debbie, Francis, Melanie, and Kirtana and Kavita, who've been helping us in the last 4 months. And I want to say thanks to all of them. And I want to say thanks to my editing team who's working very hard. And all of them have just poured in love into this project, pure love and nothing else. So welcome, Stacey. You're my
Oh,
83rd mom, and I always say the mother who lives her story tells her story the best. So please introduce yourself, who's Stacey, and then we will move forward of your journey as a mom, your journey as where you reached, and self-portrait, etc.
wow. Just throw it right at me. Hi, everyone. I am Stacey Austin. I live in British Columbia, Canada. Right now, it is about quarter to or 10 to 7 p.m. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for holding this space for all these women. I mean, it is absolutely beautiful. And gosh, and thank you all the women for joining us tonight and all the women that are going to be watching this thereafter. So, me, I guess describing me first, right?
But
Oh,
describing what's Stacey's journey? Where Stacey? Let's. I think describing part is a very tough part, Stacey. Describing will happen when you describe yourself in the book. So don't take the pressure of describing yourself. But definitely your beautiful journey till here, and it's been a very very beautiful journey. So let's talk about your journey of Stacey till here.
okay. That how I ended up here today was just I think by synchronicity for sure. A friend, Sarah, hi if you're on, introduced me. I did a post actually, and it was kind of like was really self-conscious about this post that I had made, and I was sort of in the last little bit I've become really super self-conscious about doing posts and such. And I would take a selfie and then I would um, put it up and I'm thinking, oh, it looks good. I look good in it. And then I'd make a little post and then I'd put it up and then I would look at it a few more times. And even though like friends and family would like, I would just, oh, I don't look good in that. And then I would take it down, right? And so I've been doing this for a few months, and then all of a sudden, like I just did this really cute picture. I posted it, and then I just sort of left it. And it was kind of like, like I don't understand. Like I kind of said something along the lines of, I've been in this really weird space about posting photos and taking them down and then posting another photo and then taking it down. And then I realized that the people that I have on my page, they're my friends, they're my family, they're people that I know and trust. Like I don't have thousands of people on my Facebook. I have people whom I care about and I know personally. So I just left it. And then Sarah actually contacted me and she's like, oh, I think that you should meet Shikara, and it was like, sorry.
Chicago, just remove the go and you will be able to pronounce. So you can say Chicago.
Thank you.
Chicago and remove the go. So Shika is good enough for me if you can do that.
I love that. Shikara.
Yeah.
Love it. So sorry.
No, don't,
So,
don't. I love that.
so yes. So yeah, anyway, and yeah, so Sarah kind of put us in touch and it just sort of tumbled in the last few days. And here I am on Sunday night with you.
Right, right.
And yeah, so I'm really honored to be here.
Oh, so am I, and it was a beautiful conversation. So, Stacey, what's your journey till here? Till Stacey coming up and now launching online very soon. What all have you done in your life? How your journey started? Where are you from? Let's tell people about it, about your boys, and then we'll move further with conversation.
Sounds good. So a mom of two boys. I have a 21-year-old and a 16-year-old, and they are amazing. They're just absolutely amazing. And one he's in university. Actually, has taken like this year coming up off. He's third year. The other one's in high school, grade 11. And I am a mom, a wife, a daughter, a sister, a friend, and and a, like all those wonderful things. And yeah, so how did I get here? And I guess my journey ends up being in our conversation is around being a mom and
Yeah,
about being a woman. And it really, I don't think we have it that easy at times, do we? being being a woman. But I think where you and I started, and how I guess it's about finding your identity, right? And where you want to go, and how things change from when you're growing up, and what you think that you should be doing, and how you should be living your life, and et cetera, et cetera. And being being 50, you just kind of stop and take a look and turn around and go, what did I do? And how did I get here? And where do I want to go from this point?
right.
So I've been in a lot of different, I know we always identify ourselves with being like identify ourselves with our occupation, right? So that's why I kind of led like, these are the things that, I am in my life. But when I think you always try to be your occupation. And right now, like I've been in an administrative role, I've been an advisor, currently I'm a consultant. And right now, like my next phase in life is working to be a feminine empowerment advocate. And that comes with the sacred glow. And how I got here, and really why sacred glow, is because I don't think that that is something that we really know that we have inside of us.
Right.
And in retrospect, I think your glow, or your radiance, ends up coming from darkness in a way, or the inability to kind of see where yourself. I think you shine the brightest when it comes from the darkness, right? And what I mean by darkness or the shadow is, in the last couple of years, I had, well, last 4 years or so, it's been such a transitionary uh, I've been in such a transitionary and transformational place where, I mean, me speaking like this is kind of really a interesting thing. So my life got shaken up about 4 years ago in 17. Has that been 17? In 17, where I was working in a really high level position, and I uh, started to really have some struggles with the direction of the organization that I was working for, and that there was a lot of things that were happening in the organization that weren't aligned with my my comfort zone, or like I'd like to say you only sell your integrity once. Right? That's what one of my mentors had shared with me. So I was being asked to do things that weren't aligned with how I felt. And I started to really struggle with that. And I ended up, there's a lot more to that I can't really say, but I ended up being let go from my position. And I had worked so hard to be in that role. I mean, as a, as a mom, and and to be let go, and that was being part of your identity. That's such a blow to your ego, right? But something had to give. And in retrospect, that was a blessing. That was
Oh, yeah.
something that, the universe told me that if you weren't going to move, I'm moving you, that goes, right? So yeah, that happens.
And before you move forward, don't mind my cold. Suddenly today I have cold, but um, I just want to let you know about certain interviews that have happened in Stacey, because I can see you are a little struggling and wondering what should I say. But you can let me just say this, that this space has become a very safe place to say whatever you want to, whatever you can share. And why I'm saying that is that you just said that the universe decides for you to shift you, and then you'll have to take a step. And sometimes I tell a lot of moms here who've said a lot of things for the first time they've ever uh, you know told people anything about themselves, even publicly or family wise. I always tell them this is like releasing your those colorful balloons. So I'm just letting you know that this is a safe place. Whatever you want to say, just don't hesitate. Go ahead, share your story, because now the story is going to be released not by a push, not at a gunpoint, because you have to do it, but because you want to do it. And then you're going to release these stories and inspire many women who could get inspired by you right now in this interview, and then then in the book. And I just want everybody who's watching to know that I was actually for a walk yesterday, and Lucy is here. She will, I don't know, like Lucy will just keep thinking, I don't know why she keeps taking my example, but I was walking on the road, Stacey, and I'm letting you know that how you women are already inspiring the world. And this lady was walking, and I just started having a conversation because I'm in a new society. And I started to have a conversation with her, and in the conversation, she said, "Of course, my kids have gone, this, that, my parents are not well, I'm taking care of them, but I'm lost." And I said, "Well, that's amazing." And then she started speaking, and then suddenly she said, and Lucy, you must hear this if you're here. She said, "I'm 50 years old, you know, and I don't know. At 50, what do you do?" I was like, "What?" And we have Lucy who's 75, who wants to jump, who wants to do so many things at 75, and I'm like, you need to tune into these mothers. You need to find these mothers I'm bringing, and you need to bring these mothers on to know that you even start at 70, you even start at 75, you even start at 50. You are just 50, and that's how. And I kept on speaking to her, and Stacey, she went with a very big glow on her face, and I saw my book already transforming. It's not even come out. And with all the stories that I told her, this book was already transforming her. And she turned back and she said, "You've given me something today. I will think about it. And I'm tuning in the interviews very soon to know these women and find out." So I'm just letting you know that you sitting here in this interview are already inspiring. So go ahead, inspire. Talk as if you're inspiring already. So let's share the sacred glow now and move forward. And I just wanted to let you know and other people know that the book is not out, but you all women are already inspiring many people with your stories that I'm carrying and I'm putting forward. So it's happening already.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, I guess if I'm going to share, just get all comfortable, right?
Oh
Um,
yes, go again. I could feel that you are wondering what to say, but I'm saying that sit here to inspire because now people are watching this channel. So sit here to inspire, because there's some mother who's sitting somewhere who really wants to listen to Stacey, who really needs to listen to Stacey to start getting inspired and move forward. So we can only sit here and inspire without knowing how many people we've already inspired. So go to that comfortable spot and do it. I'm letting
That
you.
was good. Thanks for the prompt. I guess I am getting I was a little bit nervous, and I am a little bit nervous. I mean, I think that's pretty natural, right? Um, but I guess, yeah, I guess what it is really, yeah, 4 years ago really was not super great. You get knocked off your horse, you get knocked out of your identity, you get thrown on the ground and you get kicked around, right?
Right,
And
right.
who you think you are, right? Like everything that you've given to your company, everything that you'd given to your organization, you miss Christmas, you miss birthdays, you stay late at the office, you give absolutely everything to this organization, and it's not it didn't give back, right, as much as that you had given. And what you sacrificed was your life. You sacrificed your health, you sacrificed your kids, you sacrificed your relationship with your husband and with your family, and all you could talk about was work. And it's just like, there was no balance, not whatsoever, right? And that is not okay. And I was okay with being not okay, but I didn't know that at that time. And then, once I got I got let go, fired, right? We all get fired at some point in time, not because I was doing a terrible job. It's because I didn't do what I was asked to do. That was not aligned with my integrity. So again, I go back, you sell your integrity once. So anyway, the thing about that is that is okay that that happened. It took a long time that ended up happening. But then from there, I started to really explore, as in these whys. What do I want to do with my life? I mean, here I am, like, what do I do now, right? I ended up going into being a consultant, and I just did what I could do. I wrote policy, I did strategic advisory services, etc. But it wasn't it's different when you do things that you're good at, as opposed to doing things that you love. So I started to really explore about the things that I love. I love working with women. I've always had it in the back of my mind and in my journal, if anybody journals. I want to work with women, but I didn't know in what capacity. And then it just sort of started to tumble. I started to pick up books. I started to pick up, like, uh, one of these really interesting things is I started to use tools like New Age tools, right? Like I had like a deck of like oracle cards and such, and I started to use those. And as they're so intuitive, if you ever start to use that. And then I started to read like the Sacred Contracts by Carolyn Mees, and then jumped into Women Who Run with the Wolves, and then
I got excited because Lucy just messaged that women in the. This is the third time Lucy meeting somebody who's she's been associated with this book for so long. Sorry, I just got excited because she just messaged and you said women who run with the wolves, and she's been in a mastermind for almost 30 years with women who do women who run with the wolves. So she's the person you should contact.
she and I got hooked up.
Sounds
So and so, like, in reading women like Untamed by Glennon Doyle, and then we got like, gosh, I was reading Gabby Bernstein, right? Like I was just kind of absorbing, like in a book called You Are Enough, and it just all of a sudden start to go, this is what I want to learn. This is what I want to do. I want to use these tools. Like I want to use my oracle cards, because this is the way that you start to tap into your intuition. And I think that as women, that is so strong and innate. I mean, we have to be, goodness, we have to make sure that if a kid's like walking towards the stairs, we just know to go and grab them, right? And pull them back, or whatever that happens to them. So anyway, this started to all really come out for me that in the last couple of years, but it did take me going to a really deep and darker place of what is my identity? What do I do? What do I want to do? And again, I say back at what comes out of that is me being more aligned with myself internally and sort of and spiritually. And we talked about that when we first had our conversation about what that actually looks like. So I can say coming out of that, it was one of the best things that had happened. So go get fired if y'all want to, because it may help you get to your glow.
You know what? Did you know what happened to you, Stacey? The minute you got the permission, you became you in seconds, and suddenly, if I don't know how many of you saw it, please say it. There are a lot of people in the in the comments right now, and please see. Did you see Stacey suddenly twisting and stepping up in her power, and suddenly you spoke from the place of inspiring, then a place of, so you're ready, your secret glow is ready, it's ready to launch. I know you're launching it in December. You're ready, Stacey, and I love the way you suddenly, your voice, your confidence, your joy in wanting to inspire. The minute I said you're sitting here to inspire, you stepped into it, and there you go and say, get fired if you want to get fired. That's what it takes to be where you are. Get fired. So I love, and it just like it gave me I got a little emotional because I could see that just like a door needed to be open, and there you were, like, all right, I step into Stacey now, and I'll tell you what it is. So beautiful. If I may say that you got fired because we found the Stacey that can bring the sacred glow to the world. And it's a beautiful name. I love it. I'm in love with that name, Sacred Glow. I just so love it, and I just find it very beautiful. And I know that your intention of wanting to help many women, and I may just take it a little step ahead because your story is inspiring of identity. Would you like to tell people about the struggle of the identity, even as a child, and when you were growing up? So when we're growing up, and we have a lot of parenting experts here also, they will also tell us that we carry whatever we carry it from really far, and then we keep bringing it up really far. And unless we stop and say no more, we are carrying this, and we release it. So would you like to talk about the identity bit and how your children made you also stop and say that no more, I'm going to have this kind of talk, and helped you, how your children helped you step into your power?
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that you and I had a chat about, and it was um, really, when we talk about identity, it's that it was something, when I really think about it, it's kind of like, what was I thinking the whole time? But I guess for the ladies here in the group is, I I struggled with my identity of being Indigenous for
Right.
so long, and that makes me really sad. And this is the first time that I say it really out loud, and really trying to own that part when I was saying sort of that darkness. And um, I tried so hard not to be, the color of my skin. I tried so hard not to be my ethnicity. Like if someone had said, if someone had said to me like, "Oh, like you're Spanish," I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I tried to pass as being Spanish." And if someone had said, "Oh, you really look Hawaiian. You Hawaiian?" I'm like, yeah, what do you think I am? Like, so there was always this masking and this kind of like, I don't want to be that, because I only saw the being Indigenous or being Native from like a negative lens, because I learned that early on. I grew up in a small town, and they were like, I learned that early on, that I was not white, you know and that was a struggle. And I've had racism, and that made it even worse. I had boys when I was growing up that I felt didn't want to date me because I was Indigenous, and
Right.
that really really hurt, right? And so you try to find space where you're trying to find something that doesn't make you that. And that actually started to tumble, and not tumble, but you know um, that really tied into my identity. When you're trying not to be something, and even though that you are, and only if you damn, I'll embrace it, then you're going to be like, but I didn't know how because I didn't have the role models, or I didn't have the space. And then when, anyway, my husband, he's he's Caucasian, white. I'm not sure the right terminology anymore, but
that you ended up being with a person who is white. So all this thing that we
yeah.
carry, nobody will date me, nobody will do that. And why I'm going to trigger this conversation a little, Stacey, because again, it's going to help many people. It's going to help a lot of youngsters who are today younger Stacey, who are trying to deal with this because they are all the time here. And when these interviews go on YouTube and we try to spread these 100 mothers message, this message will also go because the whole issue, this whole project is about identity. This whole project is about those, little girls and, young girls who are just dealing with it. And we've already lived it and you've surpassed it. Now you're in a sacred glow. Anyway, that darkness should be used to, tell the story and then come into the sacred glow and say, this is the other side. So stop staying in that darkness. So
And
we will use this place to inspire. So speak from your feminine inspiration. So go ahead.
and that's exactly where I feel that I've gone from. I was just a little bit of that background. It's like feeling yucky, right? Like feeling kind of like, oh, I am pretty, but I don't have blonde hair. I'm pretty, but my eyes aren't they're brown, right? And they're just like, there was always, and that was the time that I was growing up in the 70s, like in the 80s, and like when that became influential, and the skinny, what was being out there in society, like the supermodels of the 90s, and like these tall beautiful women and their blonde hair, blue-eyed, and that was the norm, right? And there, and that actually, when that's the norm and that's the beauty, and I'm not that, takes takes a
Yeah,
toll.
it does. It does.
So I love the way that we're going now, is that we've got the Jennifer Lopez's, and then we've got, because she was, to me, she was one of those women that just kind of, she just kept, at that time we're around the same age, but she kept going and going and getting these roles and working really hard. And I remember I was auditioning for movies, and I was in acting and theater, and I was auditioning, and it just, because my look wasn't popular. And so of course, again, when you're trying to get into that industry too, you're not popular, right? There's not commercials about you. There's not movie roles for you, or etc. So I ended up not making any money. So I went and worked for a shipping company. And then, and then you start your life, and then you do the things like, and then you just kind of keep living, right? And then, my husband and I, we got married, and then we had, two beautiful boys. And then you kind of get to a point where it's the color of my skin and my identity kept sort of like, it was in the undercurrent, whereas the children are of mixed ancestry. So I'd found, like, I guess we should fast forward a little bit to like why and how I kind of got smacked out of it in a way. And I am so grateful. And this is what kids do. This is what they're here for, is if you're aware and you understand and you actually are going for those lessons. One of my sons, a couple of years ago or 3 years ago, we were talking, and he kind of alluded to being ashamed of being Indigenous. And I looked, like, to me, the way that he said that, I just looked at him, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I couldn't, like, for him to not to be, and then the other one kind of said something very similar. So the two of them said something very similar. But I realized that that was a message that I was portraying to my children, that part of them would be less than because I was acting less than. And it broke my heart, because you don't even want a raindrop on your babies, right? Like, you don't want anything to harm them or hurt them, and I did that. And it was a wake-up call. And how can I hate something or dislike something or be ashamed of something in me? And they pick up on that, and they say something about it. So yeah, to me, I'm like, Nope, done, 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 done with that shit. I'm not doing that to me. I'm not doing that to them. And that was a turning point for me about I've got to love me because I sure the heck love them with all my heart. And I will never do anything to hurt them or harm them. Oh my goodness. What the heck?
No, it's
So
okay. This we're releasing it like a balloon, right? Those gas balloons right now. So we are doing it together with many moms who are in the book. So Stacey, I'm telling you, this is the story that needs to be told to people to inspire. We as women are getting together in this book to inspire, and I'm so proud of you that you are taking the courage and you're trusting me. You're trusting me. You don't know me for very long, but you're trusting me that we can we can become that stories to inspire. We are not any ordinary stories. These stories are extraordinary, and these stories need to come out so that more and more women get courage. And I'm seeing this book becoming alive slowly. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm so glad it did not end on 9th of November, that Stacey could come in. And that's why I'm going very slow with the last, because I know Stacey needed to come in with her sacred glow, and there are some other women who are going to come. So yes, I did the madness of the 100 days, and I did, because of that, found my 75 women, and now I'm going slowly, and I'm so glad I went so slow to find you, because you're courageous and you're so gorgeous. When I saw your profile, I was like, oh, she's such a beautiful woman. Like, I just thought you were a very, very beautiful woman. And you are launching Sacred Glow. Your beginning is happening by being honored as a mom, because your decision was a mom's decision of, stepping up and being courageous. And there are many moms here who've taken a lot of courageous steps. So you're not going to be alone. We all are going to be there together in this very, very small community of 100 women. Like, I'm just keeping at that small community at 100, and I really want them all to know each other, to embrace each other's ventures and dreams and everything. Because I will leave. I keep saying this. I will leave with the book. The book has a bigger purpose, but I don't want to leave. All right, it's just a book. We're just doing a launch. We're just selling the book. Just some money is coming in. That's it. This book has a purpose, and it'll reach there. But I need to keep moving on to that direction. But I leave behind these 100 moms in the same vessel which I'm leaving, and I really want each of them to be supported by each of them, and whatever it takes. It takes interviews, it takes collaborations, it takes whatever. But these 100 moms will come together. So you have a support. You and other moms who are here, I just want to let you all know that let's become the supportive mom community and know each other. We had a beautiful session yesterday, and the mothers came to know each other even more while we were discussing their pictures. So you're in a safe community, and don't worry. Sacred Glow is going to go very far, and all of us are going to take it ahead.
thank
And
you. I'm so looking forward to that. And
you know,
I think I do want to share too is that like how I perceived myself, it wasn't anything to do with my mom and my dad either. It was what I actually, my perception and what I received from society,
right?
really. Like I was loved. Like my parents are beautiful humans, and and how I was raised in my extended family and everybody, like my aunts and my uncles and my cousins and, my brother, like I had so much love there, but I just couldn't, I don't know, I was just so influenced by society. And if I'd like go back and if I had anything to say to little Stacey or young Stacey or that, that beautiful teenage girl, I wouldn't I wouldn't let her do that. I would I would use some words, or I would encourage her to use her words and to share and to find reassurance somewhere and don't keep it inside.
Yeah. Stacey, you're beautiful, and I don't know why I'm saying that. I've never said this to any mom, but
Thank
I
you.
suddenly had a feeling that you're really going to add a lot to this group with your vision and your love. I've not said this to anyone. I don't know why I'm saying this also, but I just got this feeling that Stacey's going to be this big hug to this group, and you're gorgeous, you're beautiful. All right, Frances, I've been reading it. Frances is at it. She's one of my pillars, and she's at it, and she's saying it again and again. Say it, Frances is your pillar. So Frances is your pillar, Stacey. She wants to be your pillar, and she is claiming you from the comments, saying that I will be her pillar. So you will be added to Frances' group, and she's just claiming you like that. And Therese is here, um, and Shara is here, and Lucy is here, and all of them are supporting you. And of course, you're going to meet all of them. Kavita is here as well. Debbie is here. So we have all these moms who are already supporting you, and we are inviting you to be part of this. And Sacred Glow is a god. I don't know, since you've told me that your venture is called Sacred Glow. I just love it, and whatever support you need, we will. Let's move forward because we've already spoken about identity, and of course, that identity is what started this project about self-portrait. You know, the whole concept of self-portrait, and that's where we are trying to, like, I just know it that self-portrait is going to transform. I just know it
Yeah.
that it's going to be a really great tool. I'm working very hard. I wake up in the night and already sleepless night because of breastfeeding, but I just wake up, whatever little sleep I get, I'm unable to sleep because I'm getting up and I'm getting ideas, and I'm like, I can use this for self-portrait, and this can also help, and this can also help. And I can see that self-portrait, once embraced the way I'm trying to vision it, it is going to bring a lot of things, to a release. It'll be a big, massive release when women can express without having identity crisis, without thinking, but not only that, but can share their vulnerability, their stories, their vision, their. I was just talking about the vision board with you, that I want the vision boards to become alive with people's
I
portraits.
can't wait till we collaborate on that, because it's going to be so great because of the vision board and my course, and then your idea. This is going to be amazing
And
with
so
the
I
self-portrait.
let the world know that I'm trying to get the vision boards to become the real vision boards, and not with ordinary pictures that, oh yeah, I wanted to be in Egypt and I'm in Egypt and I just do. I want the same pictures that you've cut, how to create those pictures, and then make another separate vision board when you start creating your vision board with yourself in it, and your dreams and what you want it to be and everything else. And then, use this tool so that you don't have pictures of somebody else. You've done it. It's not a future vision board, it's a vision board that's getting created while you're doing it, with great self-portraits, you being part of it, creating it. So I want to get that tool, and you're talking about vision boards, and it would be amazing if we can do a workshop together on that. And just rather than just saying one day I'll do it, okay, I need to do it because that's the time limit. I'm going there and I'm going to create my picture and I'm going to put it on my vision board and gift it to the generation ahead, saying that's my vision, that's the journey I've taken. So many things happen to me, and that's why self-portrait is going to become a great tool we're going to use. There are many great tools already, but we're going to start using the self-portrait as a tool, and not waste the camera in our pocket to just ordinary selfies and just bombard I don't know how many GB of space, cloud space, with something that we don't like, we don't love, we don't want, and not do that anymore. We're going to use it as our paintbrush, and we're going to paint our lives and use that whole thing. So, with this whole, of course, we've already spoken about identity, and I know that were you missing from your children's pictures because of identity issues? And I'm asking this with a lot of love, because that's what this project was about. Why are we missing from our children's pictures? And did it make you happen? Because I want mothers to tell us, so that mothers stop doing that just because we have. Did you think that you were missing, and you ever felt that camera was not for you?
Well, I think missing, so you're saying kind of missing pictures over the years because of like how you felt? Is that what you're saying? Like, oh yeah, absolutely. Like pictures of without a lot of pictures missing without the kids. But let me tell you something, that because of how I was feeling in the past, like I remember just to gain identity, right? Okay, so I'll do it really quickly. But remember when you become a mom and then obviously you're so excited, and this is with my for 21-year-old, like this is 22 years ago, and you've got this beautiful baby growing inside of you, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm a mom now. And forget about being a woman. I went and I had really long hair, like it's long, but I had like really long hair, and it was just, I went and I cut it. I went and I like chopped it off, like really chopped it off. It was terrible. I had a mom cut. And I'm like, I'm a mom now, got to cut out all my hair. It's like 3 months in, and you're still super hormonal, right? And yeah, so that's what I did. And then all of a sudden, like I started to like wear different clothes and more baggy. And like I just thought like you're a mom, you're there's this your sensuality is kind of out the door. And then you have to like you have to it I don't think you have to be either or, right? Like you can still be a woman and sensual and beautiful and still have that feminine, of course, like moms are feminine, but like when you take on that archetype of motherhood, you can be both. You can, it's not an either or. Still be that woman, because you are a woman first and foremost. So be that. And I and then of course you struggle with that, and then you start to let your body go, and then all of a sudden, like, not only become a mother, but you become a martyr as well. So you're just taking care of your family, and you're taking care. And then I ended up getting really fat. So I ended up gaining, I ended up gaining 70 pounds. And then kind of, I even gained even more on top of that. I got up to like, I'm not even going to tell you how much I got up to, but I ended up,
Tell us, it's all gone. It's only going to inspire. It's all gone. It's only going to inspire. Shed so much. It's
so
different.
yeah, I ended up like, so I gained all this weight. And then 2 years ago, like I said, go get fired, go into the deep, go dark, go in the shadow. So when you can pull yourself out, that is where the magic happens, in my opinion. Because what I did is I can't be this anymore. I can't have this fat in my body. I can't have this emotional fat. I can't have any of this anymore. So I shut it all down, got on an anti-inflammatory diet for like, just, this was all self-driven, busted my butt in the gym and worked out and really took charge. Self-discipline is actually empowering. you know and then I ended up shedding all this. I shed 70 pounds, and I feel great. I still, of course, you're always like, I got a little bit more to go, but I feel good. I
Yeah,
think you have to have that, as in your body, like your body and your mind. When you start working on your body and feeling good about your body, and not being in that space, and then you want to, like, now I'm taking pictures of myself, and although hard, and of course you post them and then you take them down, but like with the kids and stuff, like I missed years because I was overweight, and I didn't want to have those pictures of being the wrong angle, or the camera wasn't like way up like this, and you're like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I do
gosh.
actually. I'm a photographer who's worked with mothers, since I was 18, and I always when I usually know the answers because when I ask this question, because always mothers told me what they did not want in the picture when I asked them what you wanted. They would always tell me what they did not want, because the list of did not want was so high when I used to go for shoots. I was just like, I'm seeing every single thing that I didn't even see. Like, there are some hidden scars also that I don't even see it as a stranger who's coming to embrace. And they've pointed it out in such details. When I'm shooting, I'm like, I see it so clearly. I didn't even see it when I came, right? And that's how we talk about ourselves a lot of times, and that's how I decided never to speak to moms. If I really wanted to step into my doing my work, and I was absolutely loved with my work, and I've never needed to market my work because people love my work. And there was a secret formula that don't talk to mothers when you're going for a shoot, because I never spoke to them, and I said be you. And I have a very beautiful story I must share. I was doing I was doing like a project for poets, and I had like about 450 poets that I photographed. And I had gone into the spontaneous mode of always wanting to shoot spontaneously. I don't want to talk to mothers, I don't want to see them. I know I will bring the light out. And that was my formula of success. And
Love it.
so I would get a call from the organization saying that four poets reaching. There's a garden called Lodi Garden, and they're reaching there. So you wait there, and they'll be reaching there. So every time four poets came in slots, and I would just keep sitting in the garden and wait for them and photograph them. And then I was told one day the queen of one of the states is coming, right? And I was like, and now that there are no queens and kings in India, but of course the descendants of she was a queen, and she would have been the queen if there was no country like India right now. But so the Kerala, she was from Kerala, a part of royalty, and she's coming. And I'm sitting there because when you're given that kind of a thing, you think of a beautiful sari, you think of jewelry, you think of a woman landing in, because if she's coming from the royalty, that's how the royalties in India stay. They come and they walk, and she's a poet, and she's a very acclaimed poet. And I was like, fine. And I had this thing, and somebody just taps at me and says, "Are you Shikha?" And I'm like, "Yes." And she's like, "I'm here for a shoot with you." And I look at her and I just see, I was like, I just saw you. She just came out of her bite. I'm just talking about how we perceive images and how we look at people and in things, and how it's so constricted. And there was this a lady with, of course, she was overweight. She was very overweight. She was wearing all black. She was wearing she had tattoos all over, and she had really short hair. And she just came and knocked at me. And at that time, I was just like, what was I doing judging, thinking that a queen could be like that? And of course, I had the shoot, and this is a very interesting story. And so I immediately detached from what I was thinking, and I was assuming, and I was expecting, and I detached myself from that, and I was like, let's go, and I forgot she was a queen. And then I started speaking to her of who she was. And Stacey, what happened was we laughed and we laughed and we laughed because she was a lot of fun. And I dropped the whole queen thing from my head, and I laughed and we laughed, and she's like, I really want to see one of my pictures. That's like, well, I don't show it to people. I always show them the final pictures, but you can see my pictures don't need too much editing, so you can see them. And she saw it and she started crying. She sat on the floor and started crying because she had never seen her laughing. I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, this is not me. I'm like, that's you. She's like, no, this is not me. And that's what happened. And this whole work that I'm doing today has been coming from that. The stuff that we carry about ourselves, what we think, and we can't even believe that somebody even saw something better in us. And suddenly she said, I don't even see my fat. I just see this laughing woman here who's having fun, embracing her tattoos, embracing, and she was a rebel for her royalty. And for the first time, she became a woman who was loving and laughing and in the pictures. So why I'm bringing this story is that we carry so much, and I was carrying. I usually don't, but of course, because the word queen was told to me, if they would just told me a name, a poet called this would have come, I would have not even thought of it. But it was such a contrast, even for me, who was walking very consciously of not trying to get images and these labels. Thought that I was getting a queen who was going to walk in saris and stuff, and then I see a total person who's rebelling. She's like, I'm a total rebel, and she cried, and then we became good friends, and that's how we made friends, and that's what I'm bringing to this project as well. As if I was getting prepared for this project, and I want mothers to know that one, you're not alone. I've been in my baggy t-shirts, and like people look at me, and I've been told that you're not the only one in the world who's become a mother. Why are you roaming around with these loose t-shirts and old clothes and stuff like that? And we are told that, and we dive in so much that we don't even know what's happening. And all this weight that we gain, or all the stuff that we lose, and all the glow that we lose, all this happens because we are not being aware of what we're doing to ourselves. And that's why this project is going to be beautiful, and we are bringing our stories out to say that you're not alone in it. Number one, and that's what I was shocked that it was not only India where women were talking about putting on weight, it was world over. Or it's not India where people were having issues after becoming mom, it was world over. So if it's happening everywhere, we're not alone, and we're going to change it. We're going to change it through this book, because we're going to get this 100 shades of mom and say, these 100 shades of moms did it, all of us can do it. So I just wanted to share that story with identity and what
I
happened
think
with images, you know.
that's an amazing story. And oh, you just helped change her perception of herself. That is beautiful.
I didn't. I changed my perception of her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I
I
mean, you.
because I would have shot her as a fat person if I would have seen her as a fat person.
Mhm.
I saw her as a person, and that's why I photographed her as a person. And then she couldn't believe that somebody's seen her as a person and not what she's become.
You know, that's interesting because I think that showing when you focus, that's a perfect example. The way that you be in the world is the way that you expect people to perceive you in a way too, right? So that's yeah, and we should be who we want to be portrayed as instead, and then people maybe be picking up something a little bit different, right? If I kept saying like, oh, I've got this, I don't, but I had this big chip in my tooth or something, right? And I'm like, oh, I got this big chip in my tooth, and keep covering it, guess what everybody's going to focus on, right? So that's what happened, like when people wasn't telling you that when taking a photo.
And that's what's going to happen. You see, all the mothers who are covering themselves are going to uncover their stories in this book through a visual, and they're never going to hide any of those things anymore because they're going to they will have to release that to show that in a book forever. And I am saying it again and again. I said it yesterday suddenly that this book should be passed on like Harry Potter series. This book should not be like, oh, we invested in some book, time to declutter, remove this book, we don't need it. This book must be passed like Harry Potter series is passed to generations, and say that it's helped me, it's helped many people, it'll help you. This is my mom, this is your grandmom, this is your great grandmom. It just should pass on. That's my vision. That this book should become like that. It should, and we all have to work hard for making that picture alive in that. We have to, and I am stepping up now even to get that out because uh, it just can't be anybody. Stacey's picture can't be just anybody's. We have to bring Stacey out. We have to bring Teresa out. We have to bring Renu out. We have to bring all of you out because when like the page by page, it's like people just stop at every page and say, I can't even move to the next page. This is something here. I wanted to stay here. And these 100 pages take 100 days to finish and understand. Is when the work is also done in a very, very good and a deep way, right?
You know,
Not
I don't know about any of the other girls on the line, but when you had said, okay, well, I need a picture and I need sort of your credentials and or like you're not credentials, but like a description about you or your deets, right? And I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to go and take a self-portrait. Like, how am I going to do that? Where am I going to do that? How, like, it was just like, blah, blah, but came out okay. But it was just like, I think that
welcome
was really a good way to do it.
Welcome to the world of self-portraits. We have all the tools right now. When you get added to the group, you will be given all the tools to explore, and I'm definitely there to hold all your 100 women to get you to the finish line. I'm going to do it the way I visioned it. I will not say yes to any pictures if they're not the way they are, that I think they should be, because these are your stories that you've lived, and you've lived them, and you have cried, and you have expressed, and you have moved forward. And how can that picture just be a picture? And even if it's tough, we'll do it. Even if I'm sitting very far, I'll do it. But I know that I can. And some pictures have come in, and it makes me cry, laugh, everything when I see those pictures coming out. So, Stacey, as usual, I can talk to all of you for so long, and there's so many
Thank
moms
you.
feeling time and listening to us, supporting us,
Thank
and I welcomed you to the book. And let's see where Stacey's picture goes. And you have all the support. I want to end this interview by asking, what is your dream? What is Stacey's dream?
Wow, what is my dream? It's a good question because like that's my first course is a vision board course. I think I'm starting to live it right now, honestly. It I get to be online with women like every one of you that are on tonight, and to you and for you to do this project. And Can I show you my vision board really quick? Like why I think that I'm like living it? Hang on.
Why not? Why not?
So this is what I made in January.
Right.
So see all these women here?
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I love. And then of course, like love and just going into the sacred and
Right.
spending more time in meditation and such. It's a different board than last year, but it's really, I think, tapping into more of me and my spirituality. So it's kind of a cool board. I love it. And
Yes.
it feels really good. So it feels like that is my dream. And I mean, I could have put trips on there. You know, a lot of people are like, I'm going to go on a trip or I'm going to do this, but I really I want to know, getting to know other women and feeling them and to see my boys to grow to be really good men. That's,
Beautiful.
those are
So,
dreams.
so amazing, Stacey, because um, you know that picture of you with the women is what this you're here with the women now.
Yes,
People are
I didn't
people are
know how that was going to happen, but I'm here.
you made it happen. You made it happen, and that's what the vision board is all about, to make it happen. And once it's done, we will take it 2 steps ahead with self portraits. We are going to take your pictures with these women just like this and put it right there. Let's put that on the vision board. Then we'll meet some of these women from the book and a lot of Canadians here, and you guys can meet and create that picture together. And I can help you how to create that picture and then put done. This picture is done. I've done this in my vision board. And I'll help
Love
you
it.
do your meditation picture and we put your picture there and we'll say done. So I want to bring that course out as well, that whatever you vision, we'll start creating it and then you see yourself and then those vision board becomes very priceless to pass it ahead.
Yes,
We'll do it.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, Sarah, she's tearing up with happy tears for you.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. I was just looking at my phone, Sarah.
as then. All right, we will go off because my son's school has started, and I think his laptop is poor guy's laptop is here ringing from the school. So I need to. India is not open for 2 years for schools even now. So we're praying that it should open for schools very soon so that these kids can go. Um,
Absolutely.
and anyway, we go off live stream. I love you guys. Frances, she is with you. She has said it too many times in the comments that I'm claiming her as my pillar, and you will love
Thank you.
Frances as well. And Sarah, I think, is also with Frances, so you're going to be in the same group with Frances and
I
Sarah.
love it.
Yeah. All
I
right.
love it.
Bye, everyone. Have a nice day, and we shall close.
Thank you so much. Thank you and have a great day.
Take care. Bye.
Bye,
Don't go away.
everybody.
Don't go away. I'm stopping the live.